Hey guys, Ripper back here, and the masses have spoken. They say they want a tutorial, and it is a tutorial they will get. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on my 8-way teleporter, and in the video we're going to be going through the actual inner workings of the teleporter, so I'll show you a look inside, and of course I'll show you how to build one yourself. So yeah, let's get started. So in this video guys, I'm kind of going to be making stuff up on the fly a bit, because I kind of half-assed this stuff down here. Like it works, but it's very messy and uneven, so I'm gonna probably be doing it a lot cleaner in the tutorial, with a lot more space, because below this block there is really 3 blocks to work with redstone, because the bedrock's just below it. So yeah, bear with me guys if I can't quite figure out how to do something, but I guarantee I'll eventually figure out how to do it. I might have to pause the video a couple of times though, so just bear with me guys, is what I'm saying. Now we're going to start off with the piston setup here, and the pressure plates control these pistons from above using these sort of vertical wiring, this vertical wiring should I say, covered by this glass casing. I kind of put it in as a design element because it needed to be there, it was necessary, but I kind of wanted to implement it into the structure to make it look pretty. So we're going to be dealing with this vertical tower, which I believe is hooked up to this pressure plate. I'll just check. Peter, check. Yep, this one here. So we're going to see this torch light up when we step on this pressure plate. Yep, and you can see the pistons activated, and I've already got a conveniently placed hole set up here. So when the power comes up through here, it goes through here to this torch. Now this torch is also connected to these. Now I'll explain why in a sec. Now this sends power to this setup here. Now this is basically a one torch delay generator. It's my kind of setup of it. It's the one I just like to use. There are more basic versions of this, but this is just kind of my favorite one. And when you activate this, it will generate a sort of pulse that goes through here. I believe it's 1 tick long, and it actually is necessary for this system guys, for it to kind of work properly. And this gets sent to a delay. In fact, no, those repeaters are just there to shield from this torch, I believe. Yeah, from this torch, I believe. Goes through here, goes to here, and goes to these. Now, we've got a repeater here that's set to 1 torch and 2 torches, and that's obviously so both pistons don't activate at the same time. And that's the reason for the 1 tick pulse, because it will activate this one, this piston. This wire is just above the pistons, and will turn off before this one activates. So it'll go on, off, and then this one will go on, off. So that's the purpose of that, guys. Now, the purpose of these is because if we were to go down here, now think about this logically, guys. These 3 pressure plates are hooked up to, if I can get in, this wire here. So this one, and this one are those 3 corner pressure plates that all go out that way. Now if we think about it logically, if we want to go out, oh, let's put that down. If we want to go out this way, we will want the villagers to get pushed by these 2 pistons to push them into this corner. So that's the purpose of this. So basically I've just cross-wired 3 different pressure plates together just for, you know, simplicity. Why would you create 3 different circuits if you can only create 1? So that's the purpose of that, guys. And now I'll go and explain the mechanics from these blocks coming up. But first I'll show you how these corner pressure plates are wired up. Now these 3 pressure plates are actually wired up the same as these 3, but on the opposite side, so we don't really need to cover them. But this one and this one these two opposite corners are wired slightly differently because, again, I ran out of space. So this one is wired to this vertical wire. Yeah, I ran out of space and had to improvise. So we're going to go right around here again. And we're going to go back to this tower. Now this one is a bit different. This one goes up above. Very messy. This one goes up above, goes to a delay here, which I believe is necessary. Oh yeah, it's necessary because this goes up here to a delay, and this is necessary for this tick generator to work. So again, this is the same as this down here, except a vertical one. And this one goes through here, and this looks complicated, but it's just a vertically downwards wire which goes to this piston here, and I believe the other piston in this corner, because if we get out of here again, very tedious working like this, because that means this pressure plate will activate the two pistons we can't see here, so these two right here, because it needs to push the villagers into this corner. And conversely, this pressure plate, wired in the same manner, will activate these two pistons to push the villagers into this corner. So basically, any pressure plate you stand on will push the villagers into the corner in the direction you actually want to go in. So that's the purpose behind that, guys, and now I'll show you the mechanics below these blocks rising and falling. Now this part was definitely the hardest part of the system because I just plain ran out of space. And I will give you a warning now, guys, this is messy, and in my tutorial I will actually create a much cleaner and much more user-friendly version. Much easier to build than this piece of junk here. So follow it if you can, guys, but no guarantees that I'll even be able to explain this piece of junk. Now what we've got here, we've got this pressure plate. Where's the input for that? Alright, I'll explain this pressure plate first. So this pressure plate, we want to raise this block because the villagers will push us, we'll get hit by this block, and we'll go off in a straight line, more or less. It's a bit different for east and west, as I showed in the original video. But yeah, this pressure plate, in addition to going to here, along to here, also branches off. Now this branch, oh, I've got one back here. This is a mess. This branch comes out here and sets this RS NOR latch here. This RS NOR latch quite simply goes to here and causes this piston to activate, which will activate this piston. So if we step on this, we're going to see this RS NOR latch set. Yep. And you can see that the RS NOR latch is set here. And we also have an additional wire coming off here. And this wire goes all the way around, and we're going to have to knock out some more blocks here. As I said, guys, absolute mess. This wire goes all the way around and actually goes into here. And this wire actually resets this RS NOR latch. Now, the reason for this is because this RS NOR latch, which much in the same fashion as this pressure plate activates this RS NOR latch. So this RS NOR latch would cause, and we can see it go through here and round here in a bit of a roundabout way to this piston. Oh no. Yeah, that's what I was writing about, guys. It's alright. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. This goes round to this piston, so this RS NOR latch would actually cause this piston to extend. Now, this causes a bit of a problem because if both these pistons are extended, we're not going to be able to get into there, and even if we did, they're not going to push us anywhere. So when this line gets activated, it goes right all the way around and resets this RS0 latch. So this piston will de-extend, and the same is over here. And if I can find the wire, it goes out here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it goes out here, around, and hits this. And if I think I'm correct. Oh no. It's actually yeah. It's this wire. It goes around to here, and resets this RS0 latch. Right around here, through here, around here, and resets this RS0 latch. So it's the annoyance with two high gaps. Now if we're going to step on this pressure plate, and we're going to see first off this RS0 latch activate, so set, and this RS0 latch deactivate because we've got the reset function. And as you can see, this one was reset and this one was set. And this diagonal input goes here and actually goes to this wire. Now this wire is kind of the master reset. It resets both RS0 latches. So if we are to step on this, any RS0 latch that is set will simply get reset, and we're back to square one. So hope you could follow that, guys. It'll be a lot simpler in the tutorial, provided my kind of plan works. But yeah, it'll be a lot simpler and a lot more easier to follow rather than this piece of absolute crap here. And I'll actually show you the other side because it actually is even worse than that side. It is a mess, and I don't even think I can... Yeah. Let's clear out some space here. And... and you can see it's just a mess of repeaters and blocks, but repeaters everywhere. So yeah, this is the reason why I had trouble with this teleporter. It was the main cause of my grief, should I say, in this teleporter system. So yeah, I think the last thing I've got to show you here is the startup and shut off mechanism. So we'll move on to that now. So here we have the power up button, guys. I kind of went a bit simple on this just because it was kind of the last feature. It was really, yeah, it was the last thing I put in, and I kind of didn't really want to overdo it, so I just went the simplest I could possibly go. And oh, it's a bit dark here. I'll get some light for you guys. Yep. Now, as you probably saw on the way up, the power up button is wired to a vertical wire. This vertical wire goes up here, activates this, and this this goes along here, and these repeaters are here just to shield the wires. This goes to an RS0 latch and sets it, and then goes around a huge delay here and comes up back and resets it. So it's effectively called a monostable circuit, which is basically just an RS0 latch that resets itself after a delay. So when this gets set, this activates this piston, which activates this clock, and this clock will fire these dispensers, which usually have villager eggs in them. And this delay is set to make each of these dispensers fire exactly 10 times, and this is just trial and error, guys. Really, I just kept trying to find delays until this always fired exactly 10 times. And since there's 10 dispensers in there, 10 times 10 equals 100 villagers every time you press the button. Now, this system is quite simple in essence and could be further improved because this monostable circuit, or pulse extender, whatever you want to call it, is non-resettable. You actually have to wait until it's all reset, because if we were to activate this, it would slowly go through all of them, and if we wanted to press it again quickly, it would come up here and it would reset before the 10 pulses of the dispensers because you've already got a signal stuck in here. Now, I believe Etho made a pulse extender that counteracts that, but I just chose not to put it in the system just for sake of simplicity, really. I didn't really need to put hundreds and hundreds of villagers in my system super fast, so kept it simple. Of course you can put that pulse extender in if you really wish, but I'm not going to explain it here nor in the tutorial. You're going to have to try and find it yourself, so just going to keep it simple here, guys. So the last thing we have to see is the shutdown function. And now we come to the final element in the system, and that is the shut-off mechanism. And I had a bit of difficulty initially with this because I wanted to make this block fall away and then make it kill all the villagers just by falling into lava or into the void or whatever. But it proved to be impossible because of these pistons under these diamond blocks, as well as the junky wiring I've got around here. So I had to come up with another solution, and this is what I came up with. So we have a vertical wire running upwards, and I'll just break this block out, and it comes along here, and we have another RS NOR latch here, and we also have another wire coming out here, and it goes all the way around, and comes to this block here and this torch, and you can see this is hooked up to this piston. And yeah, basically pressing the button will go to this RS NOR all the way around, cause this piston to retract and this lava to spill out. What we also have, and this is much like the startup mechanism right at the top, we have an additional output here, and it goes to a delay and then resets the RS NOR latch after a certain amount of time. So it's pretty much identical to the startup mechanism, albeit with a bit smaller delay in this one because we don't need the lava to spill out for that long. Because of lava's mechanics, it will go to the lowest elevation sort of within a certain radius, so that means all this stuff is safe in here. And it will also, well, when it gets into a vertical tube and then is cut off, it will slowly diminish on its way down. So you need to pretty much set the delay up right, so it will get to the bottom and have enough lava to actually kill all the villagers. And I kind of guessed in this one, and this is my first guess, and it proved to be right. And it has just enough lava down the bottom to kill all the villagers, comfortably, in fact. So that's pretty much all there is to this, and yeah, let's move on. Yeah, that's about it, guys. That is the tour of the teleporter. If you didn't understand anything in this teleporter, I will actually be releasing a world download soon. Yes, that's right. In fact, it will probably be out with this video, so check the video description below to see if I have uploaded it yet, because I may or may not have got around to it. It's probably a 50-50 chance. But yeah, go check it out. Go download my world. It's the world after the 100 subscribers special, or maybe a bit before. I'll have to recheck for you. But yeah, I'll mention this again at the end of the video. But yeah, so yeah, on to the tutorial, I guess. Now we're going to start off building this by making our lives a lot easier, and yeah, actually giving ourselves some vertical space, very much unlike I did in this system. So we'll go up, it doesn't really matter how many blocks you go up, but just give yourself some room really. And in fact we'll go a little lower, probably don't need that much room. That'll be good. And we're going to build a cross. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This creates a cross that is 9 long. And we're also going to fill this out to create a diamond shape. As such. Now we're going to go ahead and place our pressure plate in, what would you call that? The edges of the diamond? I don't know what they're called. And we're going to find our center and we're going to mark it out. Now we're going to have to place our pistons. Now the way I did it in this design is, to be honest, a little silly, but it was the only way I really could do it. But now, since we're going to wire it from below, we can actually offset our pistons, so we can have 2 up and 2 down. Now the disadvantage of this is that these 2 blocks now have to be solid blocks, but we can do that. In fact, I'll make them iron blocks just so it looks prettier. Next up, we're going to expand our little island here, so we're going to actually make it a bigger diamond shape. And we're going to 1, 2, 3 across. In fact, we're going to make it even bigger. As I said, guys, I'm kind of making this up on the fly at times, but bear with me. And that is where our other 4 pressure plates go, as such. And one thing I forgot to mention in the last step is that I recommend that you actually do this, not with diamond blocks, most likely, especially for vanilla players, but do as such. And this is just to kind of keep a guide of where you are. So from below here, I know that this block is going to be pushed up, and this is the corner block of the center. So I know exactly where my center is and exactly which blocks I need to push up. So now I've kind of laid out the basic floor plan. We're going to go out and start wiring some of this. So first off, we're going to place the 2, 3, 2. We're going to place the sticky pistons that are going to retract these diamond blocks, so directly below these. And this is why you actually place a different block here, so you can actually see from below where you need to place these pistons. Yep. And we're also going to place blocks below these, and I've already knocked these out because I was doing some testing. I was just doing, sorry, should I say a check just before. And we're going to place torches below all of these blocks, which are going to provide power to these pistons. 2, 3, 4, and I'll invert the signal just to make the pistons easier to place back. Now this will actually not interfere with the wiring of these sticky pistons at all, at least in theory. I haven't actually tested this yet, but it shouldn't really interfere by sort of that. So we can now replace our pistons and our blocks. So here, here, and iron block, and iron block. So I've actually gone ahead and wired some of this up, guys. Yeah, as you can see, we're drawing power from the bottom of the pressure plates down here. That's just to hide it under the sort of platform. And I've also done some vertical wiring for the pistons above here, which are the pusher pistons to push the villages. And I've got torches under here as well, and that's because we're going to be wiring them from the bottom, whereas these blocks, these block pushing pistons, should I say, are going to be powered from the top. And apologies, I did place these pistons in the wrong position initially, so I've moved them 1 block up. So that's where they go, that's their new position. Alright, so we're probably going to get to work on the block pushing pistons first, just because they're the most complicated part of the system, and because they take the most space to make, and they're probably going to get in the way more than the bottom ones are. So let's get started on that. Now for this component of the system, we're going to be not using the mess I created here. We're instead going to be using this device here. Now this is Static's multiple tileable RS-NOR array. So we're going to be using this because it is infinitely tileable, so we're going to only need 3 of these, and we're probably going to draw power from the back here and send it to, no, in fact no, we only have to draw it from 2, and we're going to send it to both those pistons up there. So that's what we're going to do. Now, but first we've got to wire this. So I'm going to use orange wool to wire this, just for a bit of clarity, and so everyone can see what I'm doing. So first we need to take power from this. I like to always start with my return lines, or more so I like to start with the ends of the sort of wire, because once you've got the start and the ends down, you can fill in everything in the middle and you won't have to worry about anything. So we'll take it probably out here, and will that interfere? And because we're taking this underneath, we can do this, and we'll take this out here. Yep, that'll work. And we also need to cut this wire. In fact, I will do this. And just to even the delay out, and I think that will work. So those are our two lines in there. Let's check they work. Yep. Yep. So those are our two activation lines. So now I'm going to go ahead and build Static's RS null device, and I'm going to do this off camera because I don't know how to do it off by heart. So I'll see you in a sec when I've got that done, guys. Okay, so I've got this built now here, guys, and I actually only realized I needed it to be 2 wide. I originally did have it 3 wide and then realized I was an absolute idiot and only needed 3 wide. So yeah, now we're going to wire our inputs up to this. So we're going to go this. We may have to cross our outputs here, guys. Now I'm just going to have to think about this. Now I put buttons here, so when this is activated, this is going to be off, so this one's going to be up. So we want this one to go to this output, so we're going to have to cross the outputs here somewhere. Not too hard. In fact, I'll do the outputs first. Actually, not hard at all. Output, and the other output is state active. Alright, bit of a glitch there. In fact, I'll even, just for your guys' sake, I will even put orange wool down for you, just so you guys can see. So they are cross-wired to their correct outputs now. So now we need to just wire the inputs up, and the out input goes to this one. And something funny's going on here. Nope. No, that's good. Ah, I see what's happening. You can see what's happened here, guys. Yep, and the other one works now. The other one does not work. And this is because why? Oh, I see what's happening. Alright guys, we have to slightly rewire this because I made a silly mistake again. We have to bring it out here, here, and we don't need this block, and we need this, and it will work as expected now, guys. Apologies, but I am doing this on the fly. As you can see, guys, the blocks switch over when we press the thing. So this is a much simpler way than I was doing it over here. And all we need to do is wire up the inputs. So this one is going to come right round and up to here. Will this work? Yes, because if we put a repeater here and power it, it will power the block below as well. So that's exactly what we want. Yep. So just wire that one up. And where's the other? The other output is here, and we wire this one up as too. This one up as well, should I say? And we'll go from the side here because it's a little easier. As such. And we'll also chuck just a couple of repeaters in here just to extend the signal, of course. And the final thing we have to do to finish this component is to wire up the middle one. Now, we don't need this middle one hooked up to any pistons. All we need this one is hooked up to this reset line here. Now, this is the reset line for it. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I will post a link in the video description to Static's video on this. Very good video, guys. Go check it out. Explains this in full detail, and so I'll leave that to the experts and let Static explain that. But for now, I'm just going to use this, and you're going to have to take my word for it that this is the reset line. And we can now see that this works properly. Works fine. Beautiful. And this one should... Yep. And yeah, that works perfectly. So, of course, you would take this and replicate it just exactly as that. We would replicate it over here. So I'm not going to wire that right now, guys. I've showed you the concept. I'm sure you can have a go at wiring yourself now. So now we'll move on to these things here, the middle pusher pistons. Now for this part of the tutorial, we're going to be using purple wool, just because it provides a good contrast to the orange or blue we've already got. And yeah, I have done quite a few failed attempts on this just for sort of space reasons, really. That's kind of the main thing you'll run into when building this system. You'll find you'll run out of space very, very quickly. But I've figured it out here, guys. And yeah, we're going to start off with joining our 3 input lines together for this side. And we just have to run a line over the top, as such. And I've already carved out a channel just to save some time here. And no, like that. And we can run it from this input. Etc. And the way we're going to connect up this input is by doing this and also this input. Sweet, and now they're all, and we need redstone wire on the top, apologies. And now they're all connected to each other. Now all we have to do is run this wire all the way up here. And I know I say I do the output lines first, but I already know how I'm going to do them here, so that's why. And yes, we want these 2 pistons. So we just run them round. Voila. That's all there is to it. And we should also check it actually works, I guess. And we'll hit that. And I know what's wrong. We need to chuck some repeaters in here. It's fine. Yep. And yep, and you can see it's working. So now we'll wire up this corner here. Now because this is the very last component of this part of the system, we're going to have to do a bit of messing around to actually get this to work, because this wire tends to get a lot of interference from a lot of other wires around. So we're going to have to try and dodge pretty much everything here. So we're going to have to take this down. We'll take it down on the outside and round here and here. And we'll put it on the ground. Now we have to watch out for interference from torches underneath and also these repeaters. So we actually need to move this repeater. We actually need to get rid of this repeater period and also this repeater. However, that means we need to put another repeater in here. And is actually useless. I don't know why that's there. And now it should be safe to run this all the way around here. And I've already set up my output line here, very, very basic. And it needs to be a repeater here. And done. And for this one, all you need to do is do the same as this, but run around the opposite direction. So, very basic there, guys, but you've got to make sure that you don't have any interference from any wires here or any torches underneath here. Now, I actually can't place redstone wire here because it will get powered by this block because this torch is powering this block, which is the reason why I ran it around here rather than straight through there. So just be wary of that, guys. And yeah, that pretty much concludes this part of the system. I'll now move on to the startup and shutdown mechanisms for the system. Since this tutorial is getting pretty long, I'm going to explain a bit of a simplified version of the start and stop mechanisms. However, they're not really that complicated anyway, and yeah, well, they're not too complicated. I'm just going to probably explain the theory behind them because, yeah, stuff like the start mechanism is pretty big to make, pretty big to make, and is a lot of trial and error on the part of the person making it. So I'll explain the theory and let you guys work it out for yourselves. So we've got to test if this works, and it doesn't. We have to run it on top. So I'll just do the theory behind this. Now we want this to go to an RS NOR latch is what we want it to go to. So we're making RS NOR latch here, and if you don't know how to make a basic RS NOR latch, all you have to do is 2 blocks on the diagonal, torches on the insides, and just hook the rest up to each other. So that's your basic RS NOR latch. Excuse me. And this is our, oh, not sure why that flashed. This is our input line. Sorry, our reset line, should I say. And right around to here, and we'll need a little bit of space for that. And we'll also need some space for the dispenser. So I'm going to get 1 dispenser out because if I can find dispensers, there we go. And I'm going to show you how to wire 1 dispenser because it's not too hard to wire multiple dispensers. We're going to plop out a, and we're not going to do a dispenser first, in fact. We're going to grab this first, and a sticky piston, and we do need green, we do not need normal pistons. And in fact, I'll go out here, give ourselves some space. Sticky piston, wool, and I'll do this way, and this, no. In fact, we'll go out an extra block because we're short on room. And now we have to make a basic clock here. So we'll do this. And we need wire here. And we're going to make a 3 clock here. I believe that's what is up in the top of that thing. And here. Oh. Here. That's a very fast clock here, and of course it's burned out, so all we got to do is add some repeaters in. Now this is a bit of a slow clock, to be honest. I believe this one was faster, and but any faster and this is going to burn out, so we're going to have to do with this for now. And I actually have to move the RS NOR here, guys, because I've got grabbed the wrong input. And we'll just remake it over here. But the output we want is not that one. We do not want that one. In fact, I have to move back another block. Yep, that is not what we want. Right above there. and when we hit the button, our snore latch is set and clock starts, which is exactly what we want. Now all we've got to do here is branch out here and just put a stack of repeaters. And this is the bit that is trial and error, guys. Very much so trial and error. And yeah, all we have to do is run them into here. Just set them all to delay. 4. Now depending on how many villages you want to put in per press of this, you have to adjust your delay here accordingly. But yeah, if you want to put more repeaters, just extend this far as you want out there. But yeah, this is the basic setup. Basically what you want, RS NOR latch, button wired up to the input that will turn on this, and then just grab the another branch of the input from the button and wire it to the opposite one. So basically you want the undelayed input going to one and the delayed input going to the other. So that's how you set up this, guys, and I'll put the dispenser in here just so you can see the kind of speed. And what do I got? I got 64 light blue wool on me apparently. So that's what we're going to shoot out. So we just hook it up to there. We click our button. And you can see it's turned off. So this is how you build a basic delay system, guys. And now we're going to move on to the shut-off mechanism, the final component in the system. So we've made it, guys, the final component of the tutorial. It's been a marathon, but this is the final one. And I've already set up the input and output lines as usual. And we have the output here, and we have a lava here held up by a piston. This lava will flow to the nearest, or the lowest elevation, so it'll flow directly to this hole and keep falling down that hole. So all we need to do is do exactly the same as what we did over here, except hook it up to the piston. So we have an RS NOR latch initially, so diagonal, you know the drill, as such. And I think we need to wire it up to this input. I'll have a look. So in this, when we turn the switch, we want this to, retract. So we're going to have a bit of delay here as usual, and we're going to take it from here. And I'll take it out a bit wider just in case we have problems with wires crossing. Again, bunch of repeaters. Don't need as much delay for this one because it's only lava falling. To here, and it turns it back off. And we can check that this works by hitting this button. You can see and you can see it was much too quick. So again, trial and error. That'll do. We'll see how much lava we get from that. So flow the nearest. Much too quick. Much too quick. Not nearly enough delay. Again, you need a lot of delay for this. Good. We've got some lava. And you can see it falls down. And do we have enough? Yep, that would have been enough to kill all the villagers in there. So that's how you do it, guys. I have experimented with having a trapdoor in here, and I think I can wire it. Sorry, that's my mouse bugging out, guys. I really do need a new mouse. But yeah, we need to get power to this block somehow to do that. And to do that, we need to power one of these torches, which will extend one of the pistons. It's a little messy. I prefer this way, especially if we have this set up as such. But I will show you how to do the trapdoor method, but it is a little messy. Now, I have experimented with other ways of killing these villagers, but the only really other surefire way I've had is by using a trapdoor here, which is activated by, I've already set the wiring up, comes around here and goes to this torch, which vertical wires up to this block and activates this piston. The problem with this is that by activating this block, you're also activating this piston, which is of no real detriment to the system at all, but to be honest, I really do not like intentionally cross-wiring my systems unless it is absolutely necessary, and for that reason, this is my much more preferred design. And the other reason is that this looks way cooler. I mean, come on. Burning your villagers to death rather than just dropping them down a trap hole. But yeah, it's more an each to your own thing. I guess this is a lot simpler, and if you don't mind activating a piston each time you press that button, yeah, that's the way for you to go. I much prefer this way. It's a lot fancier, and I'm a little fancy at times. But yeah, that pretty much concludes this tutorial. In the time it's taken me to record this, I actually have managed to get this world up for download. Unfortunately, it will not include this device I've made in the tutorial, but it will include, of course, the teleporter here and also the infinite death loop machine, the hyperspace warp drive or chamber of death. There's an egg there. And of course it will also include all of the other random inventions I've made in Blue World, so go check them out. There's a lot in here for you to see, and there's probably a couple of Easter eggs hidden around, some random blocks in everywhere, so yeah, go check that out, guys. Definitely worth a look, and of course I'll have the link in the video description. This was helped put together by one of my subscribers. His name eludes me for the time being, and I feel really bad for that, but I will find your name and I will post it in the video description along with it, because you've been a great help. Thank you. Apart from that, I believe that's about wraps it up here, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And go check out the world download, guys. It's pretty awesome. And apart from that, I will catch you next time.